And we're back. This is IPL Radio. My name is Paul, and the name of this show is called Community Matters. So, we've got a couple of guests here this morning. I'm very fortunate and honoured to get to see my friend Owen Farmer. And he's brought another special guest, individual named Ray Hargreaves. And good to see you this morning. First time, we've never met. So you brought your lovely wife. So am I correct? Yes? Okay, no worries. Can you hear me and no problem coming through? Okay.
Yeah, loud and clear.
Would you like to talk about how you and Owen met, or a bit of an introduction about yourself?
Well, I'm the president of Lions of Rockingham currently. Only been in that role for a couple of months.
Okay.
Met Owen where we were doing some food disbursements at Christmas. We had donations of food.
Okay.
And we had too much. And I got in touch with, Owen got in touch with us. And Owen was able to distribute that very, very easily for us. And we've been in contact since.
Wow. Yeah, Owen's an amazing guy. He's put a lot of time and effort into the community. He's been doing it for over 30 years. Is that accurate?
Yeah, Owen? That's correct, mate. Yeah.
Okay. So you guys run into each other, got the opportunity to speak, and then what's actually happening now? What's your relationship with Owen now? What is it you hope to achieve?
Well, Owen, I get along well with Owen. I like the guy personally. We get along quite well.
Yeah.
And we're talking about where Lions can go and where opportunities can go in the Rockingham region.
Okay.
That's probably the start of it. We're looking at where Lions need to be moving forward. Lions is a service club,
yes,
which is service to the community. But I've noticed that our service probably needs to change it a little bit with times.
Okay.
The general consensus is it's Lions raise money and do community service, and then we disperse it to needy as required. But probably one of the big things we're noticing of late is that a number of members, after I did a survey, was that people joined to make friends.
Yes.
And they've made friends. And probably what I see more importantly is that we need to move the club a little bit, that we're making it possible for people to join to make friends, but still do community service.
Yes.
But it's about making friends. Society's changed.
Connections,
Yep.
Rapport.
Yep.
Definitely, yeah. That sounds pretty much... I had a discussion with Owen the other day, and he's been keeping me up to date on kind of like your relationship a little bit, that he's come across yourself and you guys are brainstorming. Would that be accurate? So what have you come up with so far?
Well, we're in early stages, I'll be honest with you there.
Okay, I understand
I've only been the president for a couple of months, and
absolutely.
I'm a president of a club, which means the members are the people that make decisions.
Okay.
So mine is sort of to guide and assist, but kind of have some plan, some direction.
Okay. How did you get voted in? I think that would be for the audience out there, or people going to be watching this. How is the process? How does it come about? And what's the time period? Is it every 4 years or 6 years? I don't know.
I became member because our past president, for reasons, he left, and I stood for election. I was asked to stand, and I did. The role's only for 1 year.
Okay.
So each year we go to election, so I may not be president next year.
Okay.
So I go
so
goes
you
from
only get a very short term, so opportunity to be president. So what was your role before with the Lions Club?
I had a number of roles in Lions Club. There's one called Lion Tamer. I was Lion Tamer for a few years, and I look after buying the product for, as we're known for, good barbecues.
Okay. very interesting. So, so what have you guys come up with so far? I know early stages and everything like that. So what you're saying is they pretty much come up with the brainstorming, the people in the Lions group, and then they bring that information to you. How does it come about? How does it work?
We've got some really good members.
Okay.
Our club at the moment running about 26, I think. That would be correct, roughly 26.
They're all volunteers, aren't they?
All volunteers. The thing about Lions is that we can benefit in no way from what we do, as in financial or anything else.
Okay.
So whatever we collect has to be dispersed.
Okay, so not for profit. So.
Definitely not for profit.
Okay. That's a good thing, and there's a lot of need out there. I know Owen has been very, very vigilant, and he tries his utmost best. He not only tries to help homeless people, but also have those connections with different groups. Peel Connect is one of those. Did you want to? Is there anything you guys wanted to talk about more specifically?
Well, the first thing I want to do is welcome to Ray to IPL Radio. It's a really great pleasure to see him sitting with his bum on the seat, and to get things out there. And I was very blessed to be asked to come in and be a part of the Lions Association here in Rockingham.
Yes.
Now, there's a lot of things that have gone through the steps of Rockingham, and this is just another step where I'm going to pursue another little bit of a part in the community that can help, and also help a good friend out as well, such as in Ray, and we can lead ourselves guide into the right direction in a lot of areas where that we may not have been there before. So the way that I can do is open doors.
Yes.
Bring the flow through. It's just like the ocean, the white waves coming through, and it brings the flow into an organisation once again. And it's such a privilege for me,
absolutely,
to be asked to come in and be on your radio station this morning.
No, it's my privilege. I love you to bits, and I have a lot of time. I have a line, not in that way, but a lot of time for Owen, and for him to bring an individual like yourself, Ray, it is an honour, because I believe the more connections you have, the more I know a lot of the churches, like the Salvation Army, they're connecting more with the church and other churches and everything like that. They're working as a group, as a team, rather than just each individual, by having that spider's web net of resources out there, and those connections, and you can do a better job collectively. I think this is Owen's thoughts and ideas. Is the more connections you have, the better benefit for the community is. Not only the organisations, but as you were saying, Ray, about dispersal of goods and things like that, but also establishing those community connections. They're so vital and so important. And with IPL Radio, I know this is what we try and do. We try and bring in organisations, as many organisations as we can. We try and put ourselves out there as much as we can, to make those connections with the community and form relationships and things like that. So it's a very, very positive thing. As Owen mentioned earlier, you didn't even know we existed. So that's now you do. Now you've been brought in, you and your wife, and you got the tour. And what do you think so far?
I'm impressed. But probably one of the reasons I don't know is I come from this community of people that I'm talking about is for probably the last 20 odd years. I've been a FIFO worker. I don't anymore.
No.
And we don't actually get to know. We live in the community, but we don't actually get to know the community.
Yeah. It's tough, I think, because it's strange. I think I've talked about this before, where we have our fences. Our fences is like our castle, and we really don't want our neighbours coming over for whatever reason. There's a lot of segregation. There's a lot of divide, and it's virtually anti-community. Whereas, we should be like taking down those fences and, children playing with children, neighbours' children and things like that, and having those relationships and those connections and things like that. And yet we have those fences, those divides where we're saying to our neighbour, we like you, we respect you and everything like that, but we really don't want to associate with each other, which is really, really strange. And yet, with the volunteer community out there, with the amount of volunteer organisations I've come across, they're all about connecting with the community. So it's strange. Like we go home and we go into our home and we have our fences and we have our locked doors and we have our security and all that. And yet when we go out into the community, we're like doing something completely different. It's like opposite of what we're doing when we come home. I just find that unusual. But what's your thoughts?
Well, I was only thinking about coming down here, and I was thinking about where we are and what we're doing. And my wife Silvana, she's doing a bit of work up Coburn Way at the moment, and I have worked in the city for a short period as well. And I think about the number of people on the train going from Rockingham to the city each day, and the thousands of people on the road at 6:30 in the morning, 7 o'clock, and they're not coming home till 6 o'clock at night.
Yeah, long days.
And then there's the other group that do FIFO.
Yes.
So when we look at our community, we're a community where a good percentage of people leave early in the morning, go somewhere else, come back late at night. There is little opportunity to get to know your neighbours.
Yes.
And on weekends, we try and spend time with families.
Yeah, or mowing the lawn or going to different sporting events or whatever it may be. It depends on the family situation. So, yeah, we don't seem to get a lot of time. I did fly in, fly out like about 2 times. The last time was for 7 years and different mines and stuff. And, yeah, I didn't have a lot of time. My time, like with my children and things like that, and with the community or what my wife was involved with, was to do with the school that my kids went to. So that was the involvement. So when I used to do 2 weeks on, 1 week off, I come down and I'm a bit, you know what it's like, night shift, day shift, and your body clock is all messed up. I had that. And then for 2 days, you're kind of like walking around like a ghost. And, you're trying to be as interactive with your kids as you possibly can, but it's tough. It's tough. So, not a lot of time.
The other side of that as well is that you're home, but in that 2 weeks you're away, your family's got along with life. They've got their own systems in place for breakfast and lunch and dinner, all of that. You come home, you're like the visitor.
Yes.
And they're kind of, they love you. But they're waiting for you to get back on the plane again because they want to get on with life.
That's right, because the majority amount of time, and my ex-wife and my kids are kind of like going, well, my ex-wife used to say, you need to fit in with us.
Yes.
We don't need to fit in with you because you're away for... I agree, totally. That's what my experience was when I was fly out. I had to fit in with them.
Yes.
And this is where it comes in good with the Lions Club of Rockingham here, where the community can fit in with an organisation that is around the community 24/7. So it's very much like you said, like a fly in, fly out business, but it's a part of community engagement that we have in the community, that people that can come and enjoy the hospitality that the Lions Club is actually promoting and doing in the city. And it's not all about barbecues. It's all about a lot of other interactions of good things that do eventuate around in Rockingham. So this is where it's like a new age Rockingham now, with new clubs and new presidents and new psychological looks at everything like that. So the main vision that we have for Ray and the Lions Club of Rockingham is a new vision.
Okay.
It's to bring in people to act and react in a lot of areas. So, we can have a lot of discussions about a lot of things, but the primary purpose is that where you go in any club, it's like IPL Radio, everybody's dedicated to do that one particular thing. And like you said in the early interim, it's volunteering that actually does a lot of this stuff, that gets movement going in the city. So by opening up the doors, it's bringing in new vision for our community.
New vision, new ideas, new people to reinvigorate. Would that be accurate?
You reinvigorate and you look in the mirror.
Yeah.
Well, currently we've got a number of barbecues on. We're known for our barbecues. But we've got coming up very soon, we've got gift wrapping at the shopping centre. We've got a number of other events that we're involved with. We're assisting Rotary with their the horse racing on the beach.
Okay.
So we do that, but we're looking at having some events within the club that try and introduce new people that we're kind of social as well.
Okay.
So join the club, make some friends. Sure, we want some service out of you.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we don't want this huge amount. We're trying to get some people that want to prepare to give a couple of hours here and there.
Okay.
Maybe even like crowd, what do they call it? Crowd, where a number of people go and in some cases raising money. We're looking at maybe getting crowd to go and help do a few lawns or gardens for people that are incapable
so
of doing that.
So trying to expand on what you guys have been predominantly doing.
Well, what we're
Christmas
known to
cakes?
be doing.
Is that
we do other
one
things,
of those
but
things?
what we're known to be done.
Yeah. That's what I pretty much limited knowledge of what you guys do. I know you guys do a fantastic job. I've spoken with a number of people, including Owen, and you guys do a lot of things out there in the community and things like that. But if you're not closely connected, or you're not seeing, you're not getting the information, then you don't wholeheartedly know everything that you guys do. And I think it's really important to. And it's good to come on to IPL, and it's good to make connections with people like Owen, because he's such an invaluable person. He has so many connections, so much valuable information. I'm sure we'd like to talk a little bit more. Go ahead.
Mate, it's not about Owen. It's about what attracted me to what Ray had spoke to me a couple of weeks ago, and they're talking about the people in the nursing homes.
Yes.
Now,
quietly
that opened my mind up, because there's a lot of our elderly are getting neglected, and the most people in the organisations, of all organisations, are elderly people.
That's correct.
That are doing the hard yards.
That's right.
So by visiting the Lions, visiting the aged population is a really nice thing, and it's a good gesture, because we've just come out of COVID.
Yeah.
And everybody's been all isolated and horribly. How can they?
Yeah, they've been kept away from their family. I've watched the news just like everybody else has, and the amount of trauma stories you've actually heard. The health of people in aged care and everything. It's important to let them know, or make them feel as though they're loved, they're wanted, they're needed. It doesn't matter with technology now, smartphones and things like that. I think communication was going on, FaceTiming and things like that. But that's okay, and that's good, sort of interim, short term and everything like that. But the reality is they really need those interactions to help with their mental health. Obviously they're in a situation where they're aged, they're going through their health issues and things like that. It's so important that family and friends and that interaction happens. I did spend quickly, I won't go talk about myself too much, but I did spend 3 years working at a quad centre in Shenton Park, and I got to see those interactions with family and the residents that are there. And their mental health definitely improved when their family kept coming there. It was the people that didn't have those family and friends coming in that went on the decline and then eventually passing away. So I understand exactly what you're talking about.
Because it's about community.
Absolutely.
It's all about communities. It's about Rockingham community and what the Lions Club can actually bring to that. So in the early interim, discussion happens. Then in the long interim of that, action goes out there and does the actual work. So there's people maybe sitting at home that are in the club and don't feel a part of it because they can just sit on the bum and talk. So those vital places are out in the community where people are. You know, you can meet people at a barbecue. They'll recognise you through a sausage. Oh, you gave me that sausage with the onion on top. I wanted it on the bottom. You know, so it's the older people that are out there that like their onions everywhere.
Yes.
Right? So the more people come in, the better off the community is actually doing, because what it is, what I see, what the Lions Club can actually do, they're a bit of the heart of the city, right? And they don't get mentioned too much about that.
No.
Of the deepness of the community effort that they put into, you know, and this is what has to be brought out a little bit more lightly. You talked about churches in the early interim.
Absolutely.
Okay, that's once on a Sunday. But, you know, this is a 7-day-a-week venture.
Yeah, absolutely. Homeless don't stop being homeless just on the weekend or just during the week. It's 24/7.
Yeah. So I think the way that the Lions Club is going now, and I'm only new, I've got to go and do 3 meetings and all that type of scenario to become a member, you know, and there's a little bit of work into that as well. It's not just come in and put your hand up and say, I want to join the Lions. It's not like that.
No,
you know,
no.
And
you have to produce. You have
got
to
do
interact.
something. You know, I come from a place where I had to learn how to read and write. You know, and I'm nearly 70 now, and I've just learned to do that over the last 5 years. And thanks to SBS, that taught me how to do a lot of that stuff.
Yes.
As they speak in different language, and then all the English comes down the bottom. So that's really good. But the moral of being here today on IPL Radio is that to expand.
Yes.
You know, to expand and open up about where we'd like to be and what we'd like to be doing in the community.
Where the shortfall is, obviously, is there anything, Ray, that you've picked up in the brief time that you've been with Lions? Is there things where you see you can expand on?
I think the big thing at the moment is, as I keep going back to making friends, I think there's a lot of people out there that could be listening here and thinking, I can do something, but I don't have a lot of time.
No.
And we're looking at those people that can spare that hour or so here and there. Sure, it's a commitment, but an hour or so here, they can actually do something constructive and feel good about themselves.
Yeah, I think it's really good, positive mental health as well.
Yeah.
Just by me coming into the radio, it gives me purpose. You know, even though I only have a show like once a week or anything like that, but it's something I can. It's the start of my week, and also the fact is that I can do other things when I'm out in the community as well, establishing connections, and even conversations with Owen and Owen's friends and in the shopping centre and everything like that. The more people you meet, the more you actually find out what's actually happening out in the community, and that's something Owen's actually brought to me. Like, he's brought people in to me and introduced me to Hayley Edwards, the Deputy Mayor, and then, you know, there's another friendship that I've actually struck, and then that interaction and that conversations take place, which is really, really vital. I think what you're doing and what Lions do and looking to the future, I think that's what you're trying to do. Is there's a situation, like you mentioned, COVID happened 2 years, that changed things.
Oh yeah,
can't go back. So
well, the one good thing about what the Lions do, they do a lot of hidden things. There's things behind the scenes that don't get said and seen. You know, and this is where the hard work comes in. It comes from the president, secretary, the vice secretary, and all that type of jazz. It comes down. There's a lot of hard work that goes into that, into that to get an organisation keep going. And the one good thing about it, what I seen this time last year, I had a phone call from Ray, and there was a lot of goods there for people to eat over Christmas and all that type of jazz. So that came to me through the channel of love, and that went out to feed the community of Rockingham. You know, there was people out there that were getting knocked back from churches, getting hampers and all that type of jazz. Farmer had it in the back of his car. So they come and said, can we have this? So those boxes of food that was donated by the Lions Club last year, and there was quite a lot of it there, Paul, and that went out to people that were ashamed to come and ask. They went out to families
it's a pride thing, isn't it?
Yeah, that never had enough money to feed their children over Christmas. You know, so all that went down. So that touched my heart from the heart of the community, that fed my people at that particular time without shame or blame or ridicule, you know, and it brought back the dignity that they could come and sit in the back of my car and filter whatever they wanted without being given something that they don't want, that they can't eat, and walk away with pride. Yeah. So through that, this is the hidden things that the Lions Club actually do in the community. You know, it's not selling itself, it's offering out. And this is why I see, you know, when you've got a heart, everybody wants a little bit of it.
Yes.
So this is where the Lions Club comes in. They formate that heart and they donate around the areas. And it's not on easy terms, it's on hard terms because they do some hard yards to get that. Yeah. You know, schools organise things. Okay. You know, all this stuff, and other clubs organise it to bring it into one organisation. So I'm very proud of Ray and to where his position is today, that I'm sitting here today being a part of something else that I've always wanted to be a part of, something else, because everything I've done individually.
Yes.
And now that I can be in a group, I can just defuse myself a little bit and just pass it along. What do you reckon, Ray?
It's about being part of that group. It's being part of that family. Yeah. It's being part of these people who all got a common goal. Something we haven't spoken of is there is a worldwide trend to try and get Leo's clubs going, which is the youth. We don't have one in Rockingham.
Okay.
Unfortunately, a number of the clubs are not making it. A number of Leo's clubs are.
Okay. Is there a reason for that? Or?
I can't speak for other clubs. Okay. That would be wrong with me. I have my thoughts about them. I
understand.
But it's about getting people, youth, involved. And for the same as I'm talking before, it's giving people the opportunity to do something and feel good about themselves.
Yeah.
And the privilege of the only benefit, or the only feel good, is your feel good for doing it. There's no other benefit, as in financial or gift.
I know Owen. He does it. He does it from the heart, and he does it out of, love for the community. That's what I picked up on the time and the conversations I've had with Owen. So for him to bring you into IPL Radio and to be on my show is actually a complete honour. And I do appreciate your time. I do appreciate you coming in, and Owen as well. Was there anything else you wanted to talk about, Owen or Ray? Is there anything? Ray first, you're our special guest.
No, I'm just out to the people that are sitting there maybe listening to this now and thinking, well, can I do something? Yep. It doesn't have to be huge.
No.
I'm fortunate. I'm a president of a club of people that want to do things.
Yes.
I'm very fortunate. For example, we're hosting the Combined Services dinner in a few weeks' time, which is all the groups. And I've got this wonderful group of people that are putting that together. So it's everyone doing a little bit.
Yeah,
it's massive
not one
outcome.
Individual. No. I know Owen has tried to carry a really, really big load over the many years, and it's hard. It's hard doing it by yourself. You can't do it all. You can't. Nobody's Superman.
I just want to appreciate IPL Radio and Paul, as you've done your producing this morning, and a special guest Ray. From the Lions Club that's come in. I appreciate everything that's come down, and if I can do anything to help my community, this is just another way of doing it. So I do welcome Ray and his lovely wife into IPL Radio for the first time, and I hope there's some more times to come and let you know from time to time what the Lions is doing.
Oh, absolutely. You're very much welcome to come in, maybe not next week, but sort of down the track when you're settled in more, things are actually happening, and then just pop in and just say, hey, this is what I want to talk about.
I might bring my wife down. She'll take over.
Sure.
And the one good thing about that, Paul, is that if anybody wants to get in contact with the Lions of Rockingham, they can come into IPL Radio.
Absolutely.
And we can pass the number on to those type of people, our clients in the community. Don't feel free to come through and ask about the Lions Club of Rockingham, and then things will get done. Thank you.
No worries. Thank you very much, Owen, and thank you very much, Ray, and your lovely wife. Thank you for coming in and sitting down there. We're just going to wrap it up, Tris. Okay, cool. No worries. All right. Thanks for your time. Thanks for coming in. All right.
Thank you very much.
Take care.
Bye.